News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The NTSB has released a report on the Ice Road Truckers plane crash. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning for Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. It's dark, but it's clear that it's a chilly 30 degrees in Missoula right now. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Selway Armory on Stockyard Road. With more guns and ammo than anyone in Missoula, the best prices in Montana, Montana's premier firearms dealer. A witness to an airplane crash that killed Ice Road Truckers driver Darrell Ward said the Cessna 182 was making a second attempt to land at a western Montana airstrip when it suddenly veered 90 degrees to the right. The National Transportation Safety Board issued its preliminary report on the August 28th plane crash that killed Ward of Deer Lodge and pilot Mark Malotz of Arlee. A certified commercial pilot told investigators the airplane initially overflew the Rock Creek Airport landing strip near Clinton. On its second approach, when the airplane was about 40 feet above the runway, it suddenly veered to the right and collided with a stand of trees before crashing on the shoulder of I-90 and catching fire, killing the two men inside. Ward, ironically, was planning to film a pilot for a new documentary show involving the recovery of plane wrecks. Missoula Rural Fire and other agencies responded yesterday afternoon to Roseburg Lumber Products on Razor Drive for two separate fires. Upon arrival about 1 p.m., heavy smoke and flames were showing from a pre-dry building. The majority of that fire was confined to the ductwork system. After knocking the fire down, Chief Bill Caldwell said a second fire broke out about 3 p.m.
The second fire was an ember that apparently wafted into the sky above the mill and then settled on the north side of the mill and got into one of the walls inside of the area where they store the material that they actually build the press board out of.
Caldwell said several agencies responded.
Missoula Rural Fire responded with two Type 1 engines and a truck, Missoula City with a Type 1 engine, and then we had a battalion chief and an assistant chief in the command roles.
Caldwell said no one was injured in either fire. In part two of a series on traffic safety, after several fatal accidents in western Montana over the past weeks that included children, law enforcement authorities are reminding drivers about state seatbelt statutes. Missoula Police Department Public Information Officer Travis Welsh quoted state law in the Montana Seatbelt Use Act.
If a child under 6 years of age and weighing less than 60 pounds is a passenger in a motor vehicle, that motor vehicle must be equipped with one child safety restraint for each child in the vehicle, and each child must be properly restrained. The child safety restraint must be appropriate for the height and weight of the child as indicated by manufacturer standards.
While it is true that failure to use a seatbelt is a secondary offense, meaning the driver cannot be pulled over simply for not using a seatbelt, Wells says, though, there is a caveat.
Department or agent may not require a driver who may be in violation of this section to stop, except if a person in the vehicle who is under 6 years of age and weighs less than 60 pounds is not properly restrained, which means that becomes a primary offense if a child meets those criteria.
Tomorrow, the Montana Highway Patrol provides the numbers on fatal accidents statewide and how seatbelts save lives. Authorities have identified a Deer Lodge man who died after his car rear-ended a semi-tractor hauling a flatbed trailer as it traveled slowly down Homestake Pass near Butte. The Montana Standard reports the victim of the Friday crash has been identified as Todd Frank. The 56-year-old man died from his injuries the following night at a Missoula hospital. Highway Patrol Trooper James Beck said the driver of the semi reported Frank may have fallen asleep because he saw him swerving before the crash. The patrol says Frank was traveling about 75 miles per hour when he struck the back of the trailer, which was doing 25 down the hill due to the grade. The car was wedged under the trailer up to its windshield, and Frank had to be extricated. Confederate at Salish and Kootenai authorities are looking for a grizzly bear that's now presumed dead at a zoo to take in the animal's twin cubs that were found abandoned on the Flathead Indian Reservation. The Missoulian reports Stacy Courville with the Tribal Wildlife Management Program said the hungry cubs were trapped last week, but there's been no sign of their mother. The cubs are being held at a Helena Wildlife Center. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Park spokesman Ron Oshheim said the agency is looking for a home for the 8-month-old bears. He said finding a zoo to take them may be a challenge, as there are more regulations involved in placing the threatened species. Authorities are seeking the public's help in locating the missing mama bear. 29-year-old Lee Knoll was arrested early Tuesday morning at Seeley Lake for allegedly assaulting his own mother and keeping her from contacting friends to help. Knoll faced Judge Marie Anderson at Missoula Justice Court yesterday. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Brittany Santorno asked that Knoll be held on $20,000 bail.
The victim in this instance is the defendant's mother. The defendant took her phone, so she was subsequently able to send a Facebook message to her friends for help. He then took her computer and hid it along with her phone. He has 2 prior confirmed convictions of PFMA. Apparently, one is against his grandmother.
Santorno said Knoll's mother supplied the arresting deputies with more information about her son's illegal activities.
The victim reports he has previously used methamphetamine as well. His prior PFMA convictions were from 2006 and 2012. For those reasons, we'd be requesting a $20,000 bail amount. Additionally, it should be noted that the victim thinks that jail and or mental health treatment is the best for this defendant's safety.
Knoll's mother was in the courtroom to hear the charges against her son but made no comment. Judge Anderson set bail at $20,000 and ordered Knoll to appear again September 28th. Montana's Attorney General Tim Fox, in conjunction with the National Crime Victims' Rights Week, held open forums in 5 different Montana cities to give people the opportunity to talk about their experience as a crime victim in the Montana justice system.
We learned a lot. It was very interesting, and as you might imagine, a lot of the victims of crime had to be very, very courageous to talk about some pretty horrific things that happened to them in their personal lives, and then talk about that in the context of what happened after someone was charged with a crime and how did the system essentially treat these survivors.
During the process, Fox said the most important thing they learned is that the Montana justice system needs to improve its communications with victims of crime.
When you're a victim of even a theft crime, and I have been a victim of a theft crime, there's a dirty feeling that you have, that you've been violated. We don't want to make a distinction between, say, a victim of an assault or a sexual assault and a victim of a theft crime, for instance. They all have rights, they all have feelings, and we need to make sure we're taking care of all of those folks.
Fox says the next step is to discuss what they learned and how they should go about applying some changes that will improve problems across the state. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly sunny skies today with our high temperature right around the 70-degree mark. Partly cloudy tonight with our lows in the low 40s. We'll see our temperatures warming close to the 80-degree mark Friday and Saturday. Showers possible Sunday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.